Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Haribol, Haribol. My Dandavat Pranams to all of you on this incredible day. Today is such a special day. Nityananda Tryodasi. It only comes once a year that we have full day opportunity to glorify Nityananda Prabhu. So we're most fortunate. So I'll be speaking on Nityananda today and we'll revert to our Jaiva Dharma tomorrow. And we'll sing a kirtan first. So today is the 21st, 22nd, and it's Thursday, 2024. Okay, the sound is okay. So my Dandavat pranams again, and we'll sing a kirtan. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prashtaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshaviti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda O Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda O Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare O Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare O Hare Krishna O Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare O Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Nitai Gauda Hari Bol Hari Bol Gauda Hari Bol Nitai Gauda Oh Jaya Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Oh Nitai Hey Nitai Hey Nitai Hey Nitai Hey Oh Nitai Hey 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 Oh Jaya Sachi Nandan Jaya Gauda Hari Sachi Nandan Jaya Gauda Hari Gauda Hey Gauda Hey Gauda Hey Gauda Hey Oh Jaya Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Oh Radhe 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 Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gan Havika Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju ki jai. Vrishabhanu Nandini Vajeshwari Radharani ki jai. Jai Nityananda Rai ki jai. Nityananda Tryodasi ki jai. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Jai Shila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tadasara Shishimat. Shila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tadasara Shishimat. Shila Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tadasara Shishimat. Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tadasara Shishimat. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Gaudi Vedantaracharya ki jai. Jai Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamanand Prabhu Treya ki jai. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shivata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's ki jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sikha Hosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautamdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritujip Janadvip Motamdvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Dwadasa Vardmatmika Shri Brajamandal ki jai. Shri Radhakun, Shamakun, Ganga Jamuna Devi, Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Brinda Devi Maharani ki jai. Shri Yogamaya Punamasi Devi Maharani ki jai. Gopishwa Mahadev ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra ki jai. Ketra Mandal ki jai. Sarva Vigna Vinashakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakta Prava Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Achari Dham ki jai. Chari Sampradaya ki jai. Chari Acharya ki jai. Uh, uh, Mataraj ki jai. Akara Mataraj ki jai. Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Grantaraj Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Anantagota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samaga Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Shri Nityananda Tryodasi ki jai. Shri Nityananda Tryodasi ki jai. This Facebook one is saying slow connection all the time.
Are you on mine?
Yes.
I'm
It's
going to turn my stuff off.
saying slow connection. If you want to take the whole Facebook phone and fix it up, you can just, because the YouTube one is doing fine, you can just dismantle it. Yeah. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha Priya Swarupe Daita Sarupe Prema Sarupe Sahajabi Rupe Nijana Rupe Babueka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapitachirim Chirat Kurunavartinokala Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundaratu Tikatamba Sadipita Sadahridare Kanare Sparatuva Sachinandanaha Yam Pravajantamanapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravo Benedustam Sarvabhutam Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparara Lakshai Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Paradram Tato Mamrasti Katyana Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions of Danda pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tadasada Shishimat Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nityalila Pravishna Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Shila Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada. And I'm offering again to our dear most Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gauda Shakti Swarapaya Rupanugavrayate. And to all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to you. Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalikalmasya Nasaya Janavapataye Namaha Sankarshana Kranantai Shayi Garbadoshayi Chapayi Dishe Sheshascha Yasyam Syakalas Nitya Nandakya Shanamam Mamastu. I'm first of all offering all my Dandavat pranams unto our most beloved Nityananda Rai, who is the most merciful manifestation of Akhand Guru Mula Tattva. Akhand means undivided. So this undivided, there's no division in the current. The current is flowing fully. Nityananda Prabhu, Baladev Prabhu, is the first manifestation coming from Krishna via Swarup Shakti. Everything comes from Swarup Shakti. Nothing comes separately. Everything is emanating from Swarup Shakti. So this Sandini Shakti, Baladev, Nityananda Rai, they represent the Sandini Shakti, this Shakti of existence. In other words, Nityananda, Baladev, is present everywhere. Anything that has existence is manifesting from the Sandini Shakti. So we can always be reminded of Nityananda and Guru, because he's Akhand Guru Mula Tattva, Nityananda. He's the first personality to demonstrate total bhakti to the Lord. She Radhika, she manifests for Krishna's confidential pastimes, for rasa, for pastimes. Nityananda Prabhu, Baladev Prabhu, he manifests for demonstration of bhakti, to show us what is bhakti. So he's bringing that current of bhakti all the way through our Guru Vargya, from Lord Brahma to Narad, to Vyasadev, to Shukadev, etc., all our line. And then Mahaprabhu is manifesting on that platform. We should think of the Sandini Shakti or Nityananda Prabhu as the platform where everything is manifesting from. Without that Sandini Shakti, without that existence potency, nothing can manifest. And in the complete picture, we understand that this Sandini Shakti is represented as Paramatma, ultimately. Sometimes people get confused here. They think because it says Sat, Chit, Ananda, that the first potency of the Brahman, and then Paramatma, and then Bhagavan. We know this verse, this Vedanti tat tattva vedas tattvam yagyanam advayam brahmati paramatmati bhagavan iti shabyate. And sometimes it's not clear with the devotees. They think that the Sat Shakti is manifested in the Brahmajyoti, but the Sat Shakti or the Brahmajyoti consists of knowledge, gyan, and vairagya. So it's the Chit Shakti that is manifesting in the Brahmajyoti. And then when the Chit is connected with the existence, Sandini, then it becomes Paramatma in this expression of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. You understand? There's three divisions. But the Brahmajyoti doesn't have any existence. There's no existence in the Brahmajyoti. So the Brahmajyoti is not the Sat Shakti. It's not the Sandini Shakti. It's the Chit Shakti. So I know many times devotees, they get a little bit bewildered by that. So I just wanted to mention that point, that the Sandini Shakti is represented by a form, and that form is Paramatma. And that is the principal form that Nityananda Prabhu is going to give to the world in the form of, first of all, manifesting himself as Guru. We see in the pastimes of Baladev Prabhu in particular, in the pastime when he went to Naimisharanya during the Kurukshetra war, and Romaharsana Sutta is there, and he's sitting on the Vyasasan, and all the sages stand up when Baladev comes into the assembly. But Ramaharsana, he stays sitting because he's considering himself empowered, which he is. He's empowered to speak. And therefore, he doesn't have to acknowledge the source of that empowerment. You may be empowered by Guru, but if you don't acknowledge the source of that empowerment, especially when he comes into the presence, comes in, because all the other sages immediately understood this is Baladev Prabhu. This is where everything is, the current is coming from Baladev Prabhu. Baladev and Nityananda are non-different. So when we say Baladev, we refer to Nityananda simultaneously. So we are celebrating that today. We're celebrating the origin of this current of bhakti. Because what does Baladev Prabhu do? What does Nityananda do? He represents the service mood. The Sandini Shakti is a representation of the service mood. He is the Ishtadev. He is the presiding deity of that Sandini Shakti. The existence potency itself is manifesting ultimately from Shakti Tattva, which is Radhika. But the Ishtadev of that Shakti is Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So we see in our Guru Vargya, we always remember Sri Guru when we think of Nityananda. Without Guru, we cannot come to the confidential realm of worshipping Sri Radhika. Totally Heno Nitai Bine Bai Radha Krishna Paitinai. Without coming to Nityananda Prabhu, one cannot enter into the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna, even though Nityananda himself doesn't manifest in this world as if he's entering into those pastimes. What does Nityananda Prabhu teach principally? He teaches Nam Sankirtan. He teaches Nishta to Guru. That's what he gives us. He gives us that connection with Guru. This is Nityananda's destined, delegated service. When he's manifested to accompany Mahaprabhu, he stays in Puri for most of the time. Once he begins his mission, so to speak, once Nimai Pandit becomes secondary to this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once he takes sannyas and goes to Puri, then every year he's telling Nityananda, you don't need to come down again. I want your delegated service is in Bengal. And his service is so powerful, what he actually does here in this state of Bengal, along with Advaita Acharya. And they are both manifesting what is Shuddhanam and what is Shuddha Bhakti. But they don't give this Braja Prem. This Braja Prem can only be given by Krishna directly himself. Always the source, the origin, has to be the possessor of that gift that's going to be given. So this service to Unnata Ujjvala Ras, we talk about, this Swabhakti Shriyam, that can only ultimately be given by Krishna himself in the form of Mahaprabhu, through the medium of Rupa Goswami. See the distinct lines. And Nityananda and Advaita Acharya, they are empowered to make the platform for the eligibility to receive that seed of Brajabhav, which Mahaprabhu himself is going to distribute through the mouthpiece of Rupa and Sanatan, Raghunath Das, etc. So it's a science. It's so incredible. It's so beautiful to see the complete synchronicity of every personality and what do they have. So we see, for example, in Bengal, Nityananda Prabhu, he's holding tremendous kirtans. Once Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas and left, then he's involved in hundreds and thousands of people in completely extraordinary, ecstatic kirtan like they've never seen or experienced in this whole day of Lord Brahma. Because he is that Akhanda Guru Mula Tattva. He's the embodiment of that. He's the weight of that Shakti that is going to create the platform to place this Brajbhav on. You understand the whole picture, the sequence, how it is. So, and with Advaita Acharya, of course, Advaita Acharya we discussed the other day is Mahavishnu, Sadashiva. So can you imagine the two of them together? What sort of impression are they going to make on the hearts of the devotees? Because this movement, originally, it was sparked from Bengal. All the, I mean, Rupa Goswami is from Bengal. Sanatan Goswami originally is from Bengal. They all originally, Krishnadas Kaviraj is originally from Bengal. Jiva Goswami is originally from Bengal. All of them originally. Gopal Bhatta is coming from South India, the son of Venkata Bhatta. But nevertheless, the other acharyas and the current, the strength is coming from, and that strength is the embodiment of Nityananda Prabhu. And we are remembering his mercy today, that he has pushed this strength all across Bharatvarsh, all across India, because all those devotees who took shelter of Nityananda, they all came to Vrindavan. It was in Vrindavan that Nityananda was directing them through his kirtan. We said that verse, Heno Nitai Bine Bai, Radha Krishna Paitenai. Without going through the mercy of Nityananda, you cannot come to Radha and Krishna. And we see the prime example of this in Raghunath Das's pastimes and life. Raghunath Das Goswami was anxious to leave the prison house of his family home with Harinya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, his parents, very wealthy parents. And he was the only child, the only heir to such an immense fortune. And typically, even still today, Indians are very much attached to their family lines. So Raghunath was really pegged, so to speak, to take over the wealth of his father and his uncle. And he was desperate to come to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And he tried many times to run away, but he could never actually succeed. Always his father would catch him with his soldiers and bring him back. But when he came to the lotus feet of Nityananda in Panihati, remember the beautiful festival in Panihati, his father had given him permission to go and meet Nityananda Prabhu. So he came with many servants. He brought all his gold money with him. He was hoping to actually facilitate and spend money, which he did. He gave so much charity at that festival, Raghunath Das, his father's charity, in the hope of purifying his father. But Nityananda Prabhu placed his lotus feet on Raghunath's head and said, "Don't worry, don't be." Raghunath had been married. My Gurudev always describes it as Miss Universe. She was the most attractive person you could possibly marry. And they were trying to chain him by that marriage. They were trying to calm his mood to stay in the family and propagate the line. So they were hungry for that. But Raghunath wasn't even sleeping in the house. He would sleep outside and his wife would sleep inside. So, but when he got the mercy of Nityananda, this is a very shining example of his mercy. And when he had those lotus feet on his head at the very end of the festival, because remember, Nityananda saw him under a tree and Raghunath was shy to come forward. And then the devotees, they pointed out, hey, that's Raghunath Das, you should capture it. And then Nityananda caught him and said, you're like a thief. You're trying to view me from the distance and you're not actually coming close. Now I've caught you. Now, the punishment for a thief is to perform a festival for all my companions, my associates. So he arranged for the Panihati festival of this Chidadwai Dahi, this yogurt and bananas and sweet rice, etc. And at the end of that festival, he places his lotus feet on the head of Raghunath Das. And then a few months later, very, very simply, because Nityananda has said very easily, you will get liberated from this well. And it was true. Yadunandan came one night, we discussed, and then called him to come to help retrieve a pujari who was at home. And then immediately Raghunath saw his chance and ran to Puri. And he was able to escape only by the mercy of Nityananda. So it's only by Nityananda's mercy that we come to Sadguru to start off with. Just to come to Guru, it's Nityananda's kripa. Nityananda is so much out of the box, we can say. He will come to the most fallen individual and somehow or other inspire them to take shelter of a particular guru, which will be able to point them in the direction of Braja Prem. He wants to give Braja Prem, but he's not the one who's going to do it. Sachinandan Gaurahari is the one who's going to do it through Rupa Goswami, etc., through his followers. They have the seed of Radha Bhav. Nityananda is not carrying that seed, even though Nityananda is the actual sister of Srimati Radhika in Vrindavan pastimes. He's Ananga Manjari. He's not actually a Manjari. He's a Saki because he has relationship directly with Krishna. So how can he give this Manjari Bhav? He can't. You have to have the Manjari who is going to give this Manjari Bhav. And as we've said many times, all the personalities in our Guru Vargya from Rupa Goswami, they are all Manjaris. And Ananga Manjari is actually not a Manjari. Her name is Ananga Manjari, and she's the younger sister of Radhika, but she has confidential pastimes, conjugal relationships with Krishna. If you go to Radhakund, and in Radhakund there's a sitting place of Janava Mata. Who is Janava Mata? She's also Ananga Manjari in Nityananda, in Gaura Lila. And right outside of her sitting place, you just turn around and you come into the temple of Raghunath Das's Pushpa Samadhi. And inside that temple, you have, lo and behold, you have Ananga Manjari on Krishna's left-hand side, which is always reserved for Sri Radhika. And Radhika is on the right. Radhika has allowed Ananga Manjari, her younger sister, to consort with Krishna. So in Radhakund, that is confirmed. This is Ananga Manjari as a Saki, not as a Manjari. People sometimes think because she has a name, Ananga Manjari, that means that she's a Manjari. No, no, she's not. She's a Saki. And she has this conjugal relationship, like Rupa Goswami and these other personalities. Of course, they would never even dream, even if they were pushed to having a relationship with Krishna. They would never in their dreams. That's not their aspiration. That's not what they want. They have a particular rasa. It's called bhavalas. It's their stai of this complete submissive connection and dedication to Sri Radhika. So Nityananda doesn't have that, but he has the ingredient that is necessary to bring us to that level. So today we are praying fervently to catch that mercy, to be eligible to be bestowed that special mercy from Nityananda to come to Sadguru to inspire us towards Braja Prem and Braja Bhav. And then this will manifest by the mercy of Nityananda alone. And we see so many extraordinary pastimes of Nityananda. We see from his very birth, for example. He took birth in Ekachakra, his mother, Padmavati, and Hadayadu Pandit, his father. And we know at an early age, he would perform extraordinary pastimes. And all the village of Ekachakra would be just astonished with his capacity to perform Krishna's pastimes. Where did he get all this information from? Because he had the dramas, he would perform dramas with the kids, and he would get them so enthusiastic about the drama, they would become those personalities they were enacting. And he himself would totally become those personalities. And he would perform Ram Leela. And we know the famous example of when he was acting as Lakshman. Of course, he is Lakshman in Ram Leela himself. So he totally takes on that mood in his acting out the dramas. And then he's hit by the arrow of Indrajit and completely faints and becomes. But he had already instructed one boy who was acting the pastime of Hanuman to go to the Gandhamana mountain and get the herbs, Sanjeevana herb, to come back and revive him with. And the boy, in the ecstasy of the drama, had forgotten. And all the villagers, they had come because Nityananda, he's passed out, he's fainted. And all his mother and father and all the villagers, they all came and they were really concerned with the health of this incredible boy. And then one wise old man in the village said, did Nityananda, did he instruct you to do something when he got hit by the arrow of it? And then Hanuman, he remembered, oh yes, I must go and get that Sanjeevana herb. And then he runs away and he comes back carrying some herbs. And then he puts it under Lakshman's nose, Nityananda's nose, and immediately he revives himself. But so they're play. And even today, just as a side note, if ever you decide to watch a bunch of kids in the street playing cricket in India, they go for it with all their heart and souls. They completely are dedicated into it fully. They're not namby-pambying around. They're just fully into it. So with that same complete heart and soul enthusiasm, Nityananda would perform these pastimes, melt at the heart of all the inhabitants of Ekachakra. Then one day, Lakshmipati Tirtha comes to that village as a sannyasi, and he begs. He sees this boy, and he knows this boy is extraordinary, and he wants to travel with that boy. He wants to give that boy further instruction in bhakti. And by Nityananda's arrangement, then that sannyasi takes that boy. Hadai Pandit is so mortified that after 3 months he leaves his body. Hadai Pandit is the embodiment of, in Gaur Ganesh Dipika, it's saying Dasarath. So he's Dasarath. He's been through this pastime before. And it's Vasudev also. Dasarath and Vasudev is in the body of Hadai Pandit. And he leaves his body. And shortly after, Padmavati also leaves her body. So they can't bear. So try to um, appreciate the um, speciality of this incredibly loving personality. So then afterwards, he's roaming around all of India. And at one point, Vishwarup, who's the original brother of Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, he leaves his home because he hears his parents talking about his marriage. And he doesn't want to get married at all. So he just leaves his home one night and takes sannyas, and he becomes Sankaranya. That's the name of Vishwarup when he comes into the sannyas ashram. And then he leaves his body at a place called Purandaha in South India. And when Nityananda Prabhu goes there, that spirit of Sankaranya, Nityananda is already Baladev Prabhu, and so is Vishwarup. It's inconceivable. But that spirit soul of Vishwarup, Sankaranya, merges into the body of Nityananda. And at that time, Nityananda becomes very hungry to connect with his dear most brother, Sachinandan or Nimai Pandit. And he's wandering everywhere. And then he comes to Vrindavan and he hears that aerial voice. Oh, he's already taken birth in Bengal. You should go immediately. So immediately at Nityananda Bhat, we have the famous place Nityananda Bhat. If we're in Vrindavan, we'll go there today. It's the place where um, uh, Krishna, he decorates Radhika's hair. It's the same place. It's called Nityananda Bhat. And Nityananda hears that voice. He goes to Bengal. And then there's the beautiful ecstatic meeting between Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda, he does like Advaita Acharya does. He wants to show to the world Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's omniscience. So he hides in the house of Nanda Acharya. Mahaprabhu, he sends all his disciples to go and find him. And they can't find him, of course. And then Mahaprabhu immediately he walks to the house of Nanda Acharya, and they have this intoxicating meeting. And this is all described beautifully in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And now today we can go to that mutt of Nanda Acharya's place, and we can hear this beautiful pastime. But this is the meeting. And then when Nityananda joins Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mission just starts to expand like it. This time, you see, Nityananda didn't come until Mahaprabhu had begun to manifest his empowered pastimes. Previously, he was Nimai Pandit. But when he meets Ishvara Puri, and then he goes to Gaya and receives initiation from Ishvara Puri, then his devotional sentiments really start to flourish. That Radha Bhav hasn't fully manifested yet, because that's going to manifest in the Godavari when he meets Rai Ramananda a little bit later on. So we should see the pastime and the story, so to speak. We should be familiar with the steps in the pastime. And then Nityananda, he's connecting with Mahaprabhu, and he's there with those first kirtans in Srivasangam, those extraordinary kirtans. And that time in particular, when Advaita Acharya is viewing the universal form that we discussed the other day, Nityananda, he hears this is going to happen and he immediately runs there. He also wants to see that exhibition of Mahaprabhu's universal form. The other devotees who are very confidential, they also come to witness this extraordinary form. So Mahaprabhu, he manifests many avatars, Nrsingadev and Varahadev and Nityananda. He wants to see all of these avatars as, because they're not always there. Understand, they're always in potential within the heart of Mahaprabhu, but he's not always exhibiting them. There's only certain times that he'll manifest them to, like Murari Gupta or Srivas Thakur, he'll manifest his Nrsingadev deity, personality. So Nityananda, he always comes to this. Nityananda, he stayed with Srivas Thakur in the house at Srivasangam, and he was always in complete divine ecstasy because he's that Akhand Guru Mula Tattva. His identity is that first manifestation from Krishna coming through Swarup Shakti. He's also the form of all the Purusha avatars. He manifesting himself in the Narayan avatar. He's the embodiment of all existence. He's within all the jivas as the Jivatma. He's the existence potency. And then at the very after, there's Karandakshai Vishnu, Garbhadakshai Vishnu, Shirodakshai Vishnu. These are all manifestations of Nityananda. First of all, it's called Mul Sankarshan. Then Mul Sankarshan manifests as the quadruple, the first quadruple. Then there's a second quadruple. And then it becomes manifested as Lord Narayan, and then all these Purusha avatars. And then it's Anantadev at the bottom of the universe, also sustaining everything, holding it. How powerful is Nityananda? We can't conceive his potency. So powerful. Powerful enough to support Mahaprabhu's mission. That's why he's manifested. Mahaprabhu is distributing a particular aspect, this Radha Dasyam, this Braja Prem, but without the support and even physically, when Mahaprabhu is dancing, it's always that Anantashesh, Nityananda, who catches him. Mother Sachi, she prays because in begin with, Mahaprabhu would be crashing, Nimai Pandit, crashing on the ground in the dust. He was huge personality, and he would crash in ecstasy completely. If you faint and you're dancing, and then you suddenly pass out, you're going to crash on the ground. So Mother Sachi's heart would break, and she would pray, please protect him when he crashes to the ground. She was witnessing all these past. So Nityananda Prabhu, as Ananta Das, Ananta Shesh, he would always catch Mahaprabhu. And in the pastimes later on, in Rathayatra, when Nityananda again would be there present with Mahaprabhu in the ecstatic kirtans, they would divide into 7 different groups of parties to support the Rathayatra festival. This is later on, after Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. And when Mahaprabhu does take sannyas, who accompanies him to that place? Again, it's Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda is accompanying Mahaprabhu when he has all his golden locks shorn off, etc. And then when Mahaprabhu, after he's been tricked by Advaita Acharya to come back to Shantipur, this is a beautiful pastime, he's with Nityananda. And Mahaprabhu is in the ecstasy of his newly acquired sannyas vesh, and he just wants to go to Vrindavan. And Nityananda is telling all the cowherd boys along the way, along the path in Ratadesh, tell him that actually it's in the direction of the Ganga. So he tricked Mahaprabhu. Instead of to go to the west to Vrindavan, he went to the east again and comes back to the Ganga. And then all of a sudden he sees Advaita Acharya in the Ganga, which he's thinking is the Jamuna. He says, "Oh, you're here as well. How come you're here in Vrindavan?" And he says, "Everywhere you go is Vrindavan." And then Mahaprabhu, he starts to wake up and realize this is not Vrindavan. I am still in Goradam. I'm still in Navadvip Dham. I'm still actually in Ratadesh. And then he chastises um, Advaita and Nityananda because they're like that. Advaita and Nityananda, they're like a couple of, you know, kids that have tricked Mahaprabhu to come back. It's a deliberate, beautiful exchange. And then Advaita says, "Well, actually, this is the Jamuna, because on this bank on the western bank, this is the Jamuna side. Today, if we go to the Ganga on this eastern bank, this is the Ganga, and on the other side, Navadvip side, that's the Jamuna. So they're flowing there. So Mahaprabhu was bathing; he was directed to the Jamuna. This is what he was asking." But then they go back to the house of Advaitacharya, and he says, "I'll just feed you a little bit." But actually, he's prepared mountains and mountains. And there's the beautiful exchange between Nityananda and Advaita Acharya here, because Mahaprabhu is saying, don't give me so much, but Nityananda is saying, you haven't given me enough. I want more. I want more. I've been fasting for 3 days and all you just give me a little pittance. Actually, he's given huge amounts of prasadam, but Nityananda has consumed, and he's saying, you're not giving me anything. And then Advaita Acharya starts saying, we don't even know who your ancestry is. You're just an avadut, sannyasi. And why are you acting like this? Why are you acting like you want more and more? He says, I'm only a poor brahmana, Advaita Acharya is saying. How can I give you more? And Nityananda is saying, you're a dako, you're not giving me sufficient, you know? And then he says, as a punishment for this, you have to feed 100 sannyasis. Advaita Acharya says, how have I got the money to feed 100? I don't have the wherewithal to do that. And then Nityananda, in his ecstasy, he throws rice on the body of Advaita Acharya, who becomes totally intoxicated with the touch of this prasad that's been thrown by Nityananda Prabhu. Understand who these personalities are. This is Sankarshan and Mahavishnu. This is who they actually are. And they're sitting in the presence of Sri Krishna directly. That Brajendranandan Sham Sundar Krishna, who is Sachinandan Gaura Hari. So all these three personalities, can we imagine the potency that is generated? So this pastime was described by Krishna's Kaviraj, of course, very, very beautifully, that he hears from the lotus lips of Raghunath Das Goswami. And he gives us that in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. So then he goes to Shantipur, and then he leaves Shantipur for Puri on the order of his mother. And he's accompanied again by Nityananda Prabhu, by Damodar Pandit, by Jagadananda Pandit also, and Haridas Thakur. They also accompanying him to Puri. And it's Jagadananda Pandit who was looking after Mahaprabhu's danda. And then Mahaprabhu gives that danda up into the hand of Jagannath Pandit to look after. And then Jagadananda Pandit, he gives it to Nityananda to take care of. And Nityananda breaks it into three and throws it in the river. And Mahaprabhu is not at all happy about that. He said, the only thing that I left my home with was my danda, nothing else. And it's interesting to appreciate that when they left on this journey for Puri, these personalities, Nityananda, Haridas Thakur, Jagadananda, and Damodar Pandit, he says, have you got anything with you? They're only going on a 1,500 mile journey, 2,000 mile journey. He says, have you got anything with you? They say, no, we've got nothing. They've just got the clothes on their back. That's all they have with them. I was always inspired by hearing that, that they're completely dependent on him, on Mahaprabhu, whatever he wants to provide. They know who he is. He'll provide whatever is necessary for their sustenance on the journey. But Mahaprabhu, in return, he's saying, this danda was the only thing I carried. And you, then we know the pastime. Mahaprabhu, he leaves them and he says, I'll go alone to Puri. And he goes ahead. And then he comes into Puri. And then there's the pastime when Mahaprabhu, and when Nityananda, he comes again. And they come afterwards, of course. So Mahaprabhu, he's fainted in front of Lord Jagannath, and the guards in the Jagannath Mandir, they wanted to actually beat him, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has stopped them. He's taken them to his home. And when Nityananda come with the other devotees, they go to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And so many pastimes are taking place then. Then Nityananda, he'll stay with Mahaprabhu for 3 or 4 months during the rainy season, principally, the Chaturmasya period. And then Mahaprabhu sends them back to propagate the preaching. Nityananda is that personality to inspire the preaching of Mahaprabhu's mission completely. We say, like Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj called Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Nityananda Prakash, this manifestation of Nityananda's mercy to do the preaching in the Western world. This is who he was. But listen, before I go any further, what was that? I don't know where that came from. Strange. Um, I wanted to read something from Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's not directly Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's a compilation of past. This Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's the last disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu had many, many disciples. The Dwadasa Gopal in particular. We have Abhiram Das Thakur. We have Sundarananda Thakur. we have Kamalakara Pipalaya, we have Goridas Pandit, we have Parameshwara, we have Dhananjaya, Mahesh Pandit, then we have Purushottam Pandit, then we have Kala Krishnadas, then we have Purushottam Naga, and then we have Udaran Thakur, and then we have Kolabecha Sridhar. These are the 12 Gopals that accompany Nityananda in all his preaching. When Mahaprabhu sends him back, these 12 Gopals accompany Mahaprabhu, accompany Nityananda in his preaching. So this is very ecstatic. And then there's a period, a time here, when Mahaprabhu instructs Nityananda to even get married. And up until this point, Nityananda Prabhu has been manifesting a mood of an avadut. I'm probably not going to get time to read this, but I wanted to read this. I will. I'll just quickly. So he marries Janavamata, and it's a very extraordinary situation. The brother, elder brother of Gauridas Pandit, his name is Suryadas. His brother, Suryadas, has these two daughters, and they arrange the marriage to Janavamata. And when Janavamata is sitting with Nityananda, Vasudha, who's the second sister, she comes in carrying some drink on a tray, and her dupata falls off, so her head is revealed. So this is very unchaste, of course. So she manifests another two arms to put it up. And when Nityananda sees this, he says, "Right, I'll have you as well." So then he marries both of these sisters, and they both become his wives in a place called Kardahar. And if you go to Kardahar today, you can see the house where Nityananda Prabhu lives. And Vasudha is the mother of the two children of Nityananda. That's Virabhadra and Ganga Muni. Ganga Muni is the daughter of Nityananda Prabhu. So Virabhadra is his empowered son, who was revealed as being non-different to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a manifestation of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So that pastime takes place. But I was talking about Vrindavan Das Thakur. He's the last disciple. He becomes Nityananda Prabhu's disciple when he's about 18 or 19 years old. He's written some very beautiful poetry, and Nityananda has seen it, and he's commented, "Oh, this person is very qualified at writing." So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he takes initiation right at the very end. He never has darshan of Sachinandan Gaurahari. His Braj identity is Kusumapida, a cowherd boy. This is the identity of Vrindavan Das Thakur. This is why we don't say him in our Guru Parampara. We don't say Jai Vrindavan Das Thakur, do we? We say Jai Krishnadas Kaviraj, because these personalities, they were all manjaris. But Vrindavan Das Thakur is not. He's a Saka. And his dedication to Nityananda is just supreme. Every chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, he just glorifies Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, all the way through. So there are many chapters there, and I wanted to read. No, if reception is there. Thank you. Hasn't come yet? What to do? We're not in control. Nityananda's Kripa. I was just going to read. Anyway, it's not happening. What can I do? Okay. Not in my hands. It's in the hands of Nitai. If he wants to hear Chaitanya Bhagavat, he can. Huh? It's back. Okay. I'll just read a little bit while we have time. Okay, it's back. Okay, we'll try again. So Gadadhar Pandit and Gadadhar Das. Gadadhar Pandit is directly the manifestation of Sri Radhika. Gadadhar Das is ultimately a parikar of Nityananda. She has two forms. She is Purandar Gopi as well as she's a Gopa. She's both forms in one body. But her principal mood is that of a Gopi, one of Nityananda's, one of Balaram's wives. This is who she is in Krishna Lila, Gadadhar Das. And Gadadhar Das would sometimes walk around with a pot of Ganga Jal on her head saying, anyone wants to buy some yogurt. She would have the mood of being like a, um, a gopi of Nityananda. So this is a beautiful pastime. Once Nityananda Prabhu desired to wear some fine ornaments. As soon as he desired this, varieties of valuable and enchanting ornaments made with silver, gold, and diamonds were immediately brought before him. Fortunate people brought these ornaments that were bedecked with jewels and coral. They also brought fine cloth and pearl necklaces, which they presented to the Lord while offering obeisances. The Lord then decorated himself according to his own sweet will. He decorated his two hands with golden bangles and put 10 golden rings beset with diamonds on each of his 10 fingers. He decorated his neck with necklaces studded with jewels, pearls, and corals. To please Lord Shiva, he took a string of rudraksha and cat's eyes decorated with gold and silver respectively and placed it round his neck. He placed two beautiful golden earrings bedecked with pearls on his ears. He decorated his lotus feet with silver ankle bells and placed very attractive rings on his toes. He dressed in fine white, blue, and yellow cloth. The Lord looked very enchanting dressed in this way. This is like a shock. Some devotees can't appreciate the speciality of Nityananda because in Bengal he would not walk to the conformist tune of being a renounced sadhu. He would wear all these incredibly expensive, but his nature was so munificent, everyone adored him. He was so much heart-melting personality. Garlands of Arabian jasmine and champak flowers swung around his neck. Sandalwood paste was applied to his beautiful limbs. His head was adorned with a turban made of fine cloth that was decorated with flowers and various colors. The beauty of his supremely attractive face defeated the beauty of millions of moons. We always discuss Nityananda being like a moon, moonshine, cooling. He continuously smiled and chanted the holy name of Lord Hari. In whichever direction Nityananda Prabhu glanced, his lotus eyes would sprinkle showers of Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem means the ability to come to Guru who will take us to Vrindavan. I've made this point quite clear. He sported with a stick um, that was made of fine gold plated sculptural iron. He always carried this stick in his hand in a mood of Lord Balaram, who had carried a similar stick. Nityananda's associates, who were in the mood of cowherd boys of Vrindavan, offered varieties of ornaments such as bracelets, bangles, anklets, earrings, garlands, a horn, stick, flute, rope, and garland of gunja to their beloved Nityananda. Nityananda, by his own sweet will, enjoyed varieties of pastimes with his associates. Nityananda, along with his associates, visited the houses of the devotees. He traveled to all the villages on both sides of the Ganga, spreading the glories of the holy name of Krishna. This is what he did. He spread the glories of the holy name of Krishna specifically. He constantly enjoyed the transcendental mellows of loving relationships with the devotees. His name and form are non-different. Simply seeing him, all living entities became captivated. Even atheists would immediately offer prayers to Nityananda as soon as they saw him and at once desired to offer everything to him. Such a captivating personality. The transcendental body of Nityananda Swarup was very sweet and attractive. He generously bestowed his mercy upon everyone. Whether eating, sleeping, or traveling, he did not waste a moment by not performing Nam Sankirtan. Whenever Nityananda performed Sankirtan and danced in ecstasy, he captivated the minds of hundreds of people. Even illiterate village children, being infused with the potency of Nityananda, would pull big trees out of the ground without difficulty. Imagine, little kid. They would roar loudly as they uprooted the trees. Little kids. Nityananda always acted in the mood of a child, a restless child. We know many times when he just comes in front of Mahaprabhu with no clothing on, just like a child. He would even take the Malini, the wife of Srivas, he would take her breast milk in the mood of a child. He would not even eat without her putting it in his mouth. This mood of a restless child was very prominent in Nityananda. So he would inspire all these children, and they would get infused with that potency of Nityananda. They would roar loudly as they uprooted the trees, shouting, "We are cowherd boys. The strength of one child was such that even 7 men could not control him. This is not ordinary. The children happily roared like lions and chanted, "All glories to Sri Chaitanya, all glories to Nityananda," because all Nityananda did was glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu, the life and soul of everyone, captivated the hearts of even small children. Some children are nothing. Some children ate nothing for an entire month. People were astonished to seeing such things. All the devotees became overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and Nityananda was their sole protector. Lord Nityananda fed everyone with his own hands, treating them like his sons. Sometimes he bound someone with a rope, or even beat him, and then laughed loudly with joy. Avadut, out of the box, completely. This is Nityananda Avadut. This is Nityananda who we're worshipping today. There's no boundaries with Nityananda because he can break all the boundaries in our devotion. He will smash even the channel of Krishna Prem that Mahaprabhu has come to present to this world. He will break that dam and distribute it to the world. It's being distributed by the mercy of Nityananda. It's been distributed in such a way, though, that we have to come to Vrindavan and the pastimes of Brajendranandan through our Guru Vargya. This is what Nityananda is empowered to do, to bring us. He's not going to give Brajaprem himself. Understand the science. The science is to bring us to that Guru who has that Manjari connection, because that's the gift of Mahaprabhu, this service to Swabhakti, this service to Unnata Ujjvala Ras. Understand it very clearly. These confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna are not for Nityananda to distribute. They are for him to point us in the direction where we will get the connection with someone who will distribute them to us. So Nityananda is canvassing the entire world for this reason and bringing all these personalities to Vrindavan, to Braj. One day, to show affection to Gadadhar Das, Nityananda came to his house. Gadadhar Das Mahashai was fully absorbed in transcendental bliss in the mood of the gopis. He placed a pot of Ganga Jal on his head and cried out, "Who will buy milk?" He had a beautiful deity of Sri Balagopal in his house. Huh? The beauty and sweetness of this deity was matchless. Seeing the enchanting deity of Balagopal, Nityananda Prabhu held him to his chest with great love and affection. When everyone saw Sri Balagopal clinging to Nityananda Prabhu's heart, they loudly chanted the holy name of Sri Hari. Absorbed in the mood of a cowherd boy, Lord Nityananda shouted and began to dance. Madhavananda Ghosh sang about Krishna's pastimes and demanded taxes from the gopis. So it goes on very beautifully describing. It says that while hearing the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, Nityananda Prabhu danced so emotionally that it was beyond description. He matchlessly danced, exhibiting all the symptoms of ecstatic love and devotion. The movements of his dancing could be compared only to lightning. His legs and hands appeared incredibly enchanting. How wonderfully he moved his eyes and smiled. The shaking of his head was wonderful. He put his beautiful feet together and jumped up and down in a most spectacular way. We can't imagine the dancing of Nityananda Prabhu, really out of this world. But he begins to describe this personality, Gadadhar Das. And Gadadhar Das is so empowered with Nityananda Bhav that he walks into the palace of the Qazi in the village where they're staying. The Qazi was a very brutal man, and he'd already what do you call changed Hindus into Muslims. He was a very, very sinful, devious, murderous man. And Gadadhar Das, he walks fearlessly into his palace, and he tells the guards, he roars at the guards, "Where is the Qazi? Where is the Qazi?" And they just let him in. He's just wearing a simple loincloth, has nothing basically, and they let him in, thinking, "Who is this crazy man?" Whatever. But they know there's something very beautiful about him, and they just let him in. And he comes in front of the Qazi. This is what he says. By nature, the Qazi was a most envious person. Becoming stunned, he could not utter a word when he suddenly saw Gadadhar in front of him. Oh, he says, I have come to tell you, Gadadhar spoke, that Chaitanya and Nityananda have appeared in this world and have made everyone chant the holy name of Lord Hari. You are the only one who has not chanted the holy name of the Lord. This is why I have come to you. Chant now, and chant now the most auspicious holy name of the Lord, and they will deliver you from all your sins. By nature, the Qazi was a most envious person. Becoming stunned, he couldn't utter a word in front of Gadadhar. Gadadhar is empowered. He's standing there saying him like this. The Qazi smiled and said, Listen, Gadadhar, tomorrow I will chant the holy name of Lord Hari. But for today, please go home. As soon as Gadadhar Das heard the name of Hari from the mouth of the Qazi, he became filled with ecstatic love. Why tomorrow? You have already chanted the name of Hari. Now no misfortune will ever befall you because you have chanted the name of Lord Hari. This is the mood of the parikars of Nityananda Prabhu. They were so empowered, especially the Gopals, of course, those 12 Gopals that I mentioned, so empowered by Nityananda. And Nityananda himself would inspire all the villages and all the townships around with the holy name and the direction of coming to Mahaprabhu for mercy, coming to Vrindavan, coming to Braja Prem for mercy. So this is our prayer today, that we pray that the mercy of Nityananda will shine brightly through our Guru Vargya, and we will connect quickly with this Braja Prem, this Radha Dasyam. This is the inheritance we are seeking. This is the place of fortune we are, not just Nam. We're not just looking for Shuddha Bhakti. We're looking to immerse ourselves in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. And it's only by Nityananda's mercy, like I described the story of Raghunath Das, it's only by his mercy that we're going to reach that place of dedication to Srimati Radhika. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Nityananda Rai ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ramo, Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nityananda Rai Ki Jai, Gold Premanandi, Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhabevacha, Patitanam Papnivyo, Vaishnavevyo Namaha, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai. I'm sorry for the break with the internet.
Oh, my fault.
That was Nityananda